Today I'm going to be putting a new rear sway bar on my Audi A4. This is the A4 with 3.2 all-wheel drive quattro. So first thing is I've jacked up the rear. I'm going to do it unloaded. I don't know if you're supposed to do it loaded or unloaded, but I think I need the room since I lowered it a little bit. And so I've jacked it up. I'm going to take off the wheels. Got the air compressor set, ready to go. Take off the wheels, and then from there, take everything apart and put that bad boy back on. So let's get to it. All right, wheels are off. Here's what we're looking at. Stock sway bar, stock bushing. There's a couple, looks like 13 or 14 millimeter, 13 or 14 millimeter bolts holding it on. And here is my link, and it ties in under, where's my hand? Right there, ties in right under there. So I think what I'll do, I don't know yet. I'm thinking about taking these two bolts out, taking these out on both sides. I think I have to drop the exhaust a little bit to get it to come out, which I'm not really super looking forward to. And I'm not 100% sure how I'll do that either, but I'll work on that. And then you just remove right here, remove the nut on that side, remove it, put the new sway bar in, and we're good to go. Sounds easy. Should only take a couple minutes, right? But we'll see how long it really takes. Probably forever. I don't know. We'll find out. As you may have noticed, there is some rust here. This car was from New York, so I'm taking some, I don't know, cano oil treatment, something to loosen the nuts. Stuff works awesome. So I'm gonna spray it. Let it soak in a little. Spray here as well. I'll spray here. And I'll do it for both sides. Let it soak for a little bit to help everything break free. A little bit from some of this rust that's accumulated over the years. So here's where I'm at. I've got the in link, the bolt out there. I've gotten the, where the heck is it? There it is. Gotten the sway bar off of up here. On both sides, I dropped the exhaust. All of these are 13 millimeter bolts. Hit them with some anti-seize or whatever you want to call it. Help break through the rust. It came out pretty easily. So now, in my infinite wisdom, I thought I'd be able to maneuver the sway bar link in, out, but I cannot. So that means I've got to take it apart where it connects up here. So I'll be doing that, and then I'll get the sway bar out. Boom. All right, old sway bar is out. You can see one difference is the ability for the adjustability. So inner circle is more stiff, the outer bracket is less stiff, and the OEM just has one option. I'm gonna go for the more stiff option, just because as far as the diameter, they look to be, they look to be about the same. The aftermarket is a little bit lighter, so the H&R, that's pretty good. So it is H&R, that's the model number. HA means rear. So what I did have to do though is I had to take a, see if we can see it, I can't, a 16 millimeter socket and then an 18 millimeter wrench, and I had to put the wrench on one side of the sway bar link. You can see it in here or not. All right, so there's the end of the sway bar link. You can see there's a nut on the end right there. That is an 18, or at least I used an 18. And then the bolt right there is a 16. So I had to reattach the end link to the bottom of the car so that I could get some force on there. And then sure enough, because I was able to drop the exhaust, it came out fairly easy. So now just reverse, it's gonna go back in. Should be a piece of cake. Probably clean up the bolts a little bit just because they're a little bit dirty, a little bit rusty. Brackets will go back on, no problem. And then she'll be good to go. All right, all done. Fairly easy process. You can see new fancy sway bar hooked up, the link, the new bushings. Everything's bolted on nice and tight. All good to go. So, what did I learn? Well, first, what did I use? I used little lubricating, penetrating oil. I used impact driver air tools. You don't have to use air tools, but just made it a little easier. Extension, 13 millimeter long and short, a 16 millimeter short socket, wrench, an 18, a couple different 13s just for depth, and then a shallow 13 millimeter socket, and then another little impact tool. So, what did I learn? Well, to lowering the exhaust, it makes it easier. So I would say definitely lower the exhaust. That's two 13 millimeter bolts on either end. Once you get that lowered, go ahead and undo the mounting brackets for the bushing. Undo those brackets right there. Two 13s, undo those. And then in here, that's where you use the 18 on one end, and then you use the 16 millimeter wrench on the other with an extension so that you can get around the lower control arm. Once you do that, you undo it, and then with the exhaust lowered, it slides out pretty easy. You put the new one back in. Again, I chose the more stiff setting. There is another setting you can see right through there. That's for more comfort. If I want to change it up, I can change it to the outer, but I have it on the inner. And now just gotta put the wheels and tires back on. 17 millimeter lug bolts, torqued down to, I think it's either 95 or 105. I think it's 95. I'll double check. But other than that, pretty easy actually. No real gaps. If you have any questions, give me a shout.